विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ थर्ड वर्स परिपूर्णः परात्मास्मिन् देहे विद्याधिकारिणी बुद्धेः साक्षितया स्थित्वा स्फुरन्नहमितीर्यते. So now a Mahavakya from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Shukla Yajurveda. Aham Brahmasmi. That's in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 1.4.10. It's a very big mantra actually. In that Aham Brahmasmi appears also. So there are three words. Aham, Brahma and Asmi. All the three are explained. And what is the meaning of Aham? Well, the meaning of Aham, the direct meaning of Aham is different, and the implied meaning or indirect meaning is different. And the direct meaning of Aham, it's a mixture. It's a mixture of three things. And what are the three things? Well, first is Aham requires a upadhi, antahkarana, medium. And and in that consciousness gets reflected. As consciousness gets reflected in antahkarana, aham vritti arises. We should know. Not that aham, independently aham vritti arises and then consciousness reflects. Now, it's not like that. As consciousness gets reflected in the antahkarana, before that also, consciousness gets reflected in antahkarana is not a phenomena. As you see, the antahkarana is a part of the creation. Antahkarana is made up of subtle elements. So as from subtle elements the antahkarana comes out, it emerges or created, consciousness which is all pervading gets reflected. And consciousness gets reflected, well then aham arises. Very aham arises, and therefore aham is all the time. The aham arises due to consciousness get reflected into that. So conscious, and that is, we call it as a chichidabhasa. Aham will is nothing but a localized, consciousness. It gets localized. Localized in what? Localized in antahkarana. Because aham vritti arises in antahkarana. In fact, entire mind which has become conscious is nothing but this ahankara. And once that ahamkara arises, ahamvritti arises, then automatically pertaining to the objects, idam vritti also arises. Right? And that is how, as though antahkaranam gets divided into two, aham and idam. That's how we have all these kind of things. I am a knower and this is known. Both are there in antahkarana. Please understand this. Aham and idam both arises in antahkarana. But the first thing arises is this aham. So consciousness, manifestation of the consciousness, itself give rise to this ahankara. So this is how it is. So, and that is the first tadatmya of with the upadhi. Of what? Of consciousness. Anyway, and therefore this vachyartha, the direct meaning of this aham, is this ahankara, which is nothing but a mixture. And the mixture in that the first component is antakaranam, we call it as upadhi. And as antakaranam will be there, then reflection will be there. So the second component is chidabhasa. And chidabhasa cannot be without chaitanyam, therefore third component is chaitanyam also. So all the three mixture is vachyartha, direct meaning of aham. Well, and so if you want a meaning of aham, aham means ahankara. Other way also we can say upadhi plus chidabhasa is ahankara, and that kutastha plus ahankara is equal to vachyartha of a I, aham. So direct meaning. Because chidabhasa is there, we will have to include kutastha or a sakshi or chaitanyam, whatever you say. But generally with respect to ahankara, with respect to antakaranam, same Brahman is called kutastha. We are going to discuss in 6th chapter. It will come. So why you are using, sometimes you use word Brahman and sometimes you say Sakshi and sometimes you say Kutastha. Whenever you talk about the same consciousness with respect to Antakaranam, you have to say Sakshi or Kutastha. And we'll discuss that. That part right now we should not touch. And anyway, okay, this is a Vachyartha of Aham. What is a Lakshartha, implied meaning? Well, Lakshartha means you do Lakshana. Without doing Lakshana, you will not get Lakshartha. And therefore, what is Lakshana? Then we have seen three types of Lakshana. Out of that, one is very important for us, is Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana. Of this mixture, some portion has to be removed. Tyaga. So you have to remove. Bhagasya Tyaga. So partly remove. With whatever is Mithya, you remove. Because that is nothing. Because Mithya is not going to add anything. Even though we say mixture, it is not going to add anything. Even if I say, 100 gram gold is equal to so names and forms plus gold. Ultimately, I have to say gold only because those names and forms cannot add anything. What is Mithya cannot add anything because they don't have, Mithya means which has no independent existence. If it has no independent existence, the existence of Mithya is existence of Satyam. That's the existence. That's how we say non-separate also. So existence of pot is nothing but existence of clay. And therefore, pot is non-separate from clay, means it is not like a union. Pot and clay union. And therefore, it appears as one. No. There is no union here. And so existence of pot is existence of clay. So, existence of antakaranam is existence of consciousness. Existence of chidabhasa is nothing but existence of consciousness. And therefore, ultimately, it's a mixture. Chidabhasa plus antakaranam plus sakshi chaitanyam. Remove the other two, which has no independent existence. And therefore, a lakshartha of aham, by doing a bhagatyaga lakshana, ultimately it is sakshi chaitanyam. And therefore, this is a thing. And then we discuss this we discussed already. I am just referring again that out of these two things, right? Vachyartha and lakshartha, direct meaning and indirect meaning. The very direct meaning, that translation indicates it's a powerful. Direct meaning is what? Which strikes to your mind first. It's called direct. So, whenever you utter a word, pen, what strikes immediately in your mind is a meaning of that word, right? That such and such form will arise in your mind. That is a direct meaning. That's powerful. Because ultimately words are meant for communication. And the words give immediately that meaning. That is very powerful. You should not go on doing implied meaning, etc. Indirect meaning should not be taken because it is very weak. And therefore, why are you going for lakshartha? It's an indirect. It is a weak meaning. You should take only vachyartha. But if you can't take vachyartha, why? Well, aham, you are using word. So, aham. Yeah, you independently use word aham. That is also all right. Aham karta. That is also all right. Aham bhokta, that is all right. But aham brahmasmi, that aham cannot be the direct meaning. And therefore, depending upon the context, you have to take the meaning of the word. And therefore, if you don't allow us to take a implied meaning in aham brahmasmi, we have to throw that statement. Because aham, that is a limited entity, which is ahankara, which is a very limited entity, which is localized, cannot be Brahman, which is limitless. How can you going to equate? Asmi indicates a aikyam. We are going to see that. Asmi indicates an aikyam, unit, and therefore basically it's a one thing. Aham and Brahman are one thing alone. That is called Brahmajnana, in which Aham and Brahman have, in your mind, Aham and Brahman are not two entities. That's called Brahmajnana. Aham is Brahman. Brahman is Aham. That's all. This is called Brahmajnana. This is by Nididhyasanam. One should fill up this gap between Aham and Brahman. That is what it is. And therefore, anyway, so if you don't allow us to take a direct meaning, then that statement has to be thrown. But so far Vedanta is concerned, that is Mahavakya, Maha statement, not so ordinary statement. And therefore, we will have to take the meaning of Aham as a Lakshyartha. Please understand this. This is the way we have to go. We have to justify why we are taking Lakshyartha, why we are taking a weak meaning. We should take a direct meaning, powerful, etc., etc. We are giving it up, and we are doing, of course, in Saddarshanam, Ramana Maharshi also discussed this point. Why Lakshyartha is very important, etc. Anyway, so this is how, since we do not have a choice, okay, so if we have a choice, we would definitely take in primary meaning. But in Aham Brahmasmi, we don't have a choice, and therefore if we are not left with the choice, we'll have to throw statement, or we'll have to take implied meaning, and therefore we are going for implied meaning. This is a big argument against Vedantin, that by other philosophers, that they are showing oneness with the Brahman with the weak meanings, and therefore basically Vedanti's arguments are weak because they are taking a weak meaning. But there is no way out. There is no way out other than this, and therefore, and it's a Vedic statement. You cannot throw. Nobody has the daring to throw away the statement in Veda of a Veda, and that too, which is a purport of the entire Veda. See how we are going to justify not one Veda. It's a purport of all four Vedas. Mahavakya is a purport of all four Vedas. No Srushti, nothing has a purport, because everywhere there is a contradiction. If you take one Upanishad, Srushti is described in one way. Second Upanishad you take, it describes in another way. Where is the purport in that? And therefore purport is this Tattvamasi. Purport is Aham Brahmasmi. Purport is I am Atma Brahman. That Aikyam is concurrent everywhere in all the Vedas. That is the Tatparyam. And those Tatparyam has been revealed by the Mahavakya. That's how we call Mahavakya. And therefore we will have to take a implied meaning. There is no way out. And this is how we justify. Okay, so Sakshi Chaitanyam is Lakshyartham of Aham, not Ahankara. And normally when we use this word Aham, we include Ahankara. But how do we know that we include Ahankara whenever we use word I or Aham, etc., etc.? Because I say I am sitting here, right? And therefore, basically Sakshi Chaitanyam cannot sit anywhere. In Sakshi Chaitanyam, everything sits. And therefore, not just this body, all the bodies sit in this Sakshi Chaitanyam. And so if you are saying I am sitting here, so that I cannot be Sakshi Chaitanyam. That is Ahankara only. And that Ahankara is a mixture which has a localized I and which has unlocalized I also. Yeah, it's a mixture. And therefore, so Siddhavasa, etc., which is localized, Siddhavasa is a reflection. Reflection cannot be other than the medium. It is always with the medium. It is in the medium. And where medium Antakaranam is a localized thing, and therefore Chidabhasa also is a localized thing. And that way Ahankara is a mixture, in that a partially a localized I and a Sakshi Chaitanya which is unlocalized, which is all pervasive, that also is there. And therefore we give up that localized I which is not independent, which has no independent existence. Chidabhasa and Antakaranam have no independent existence. We are throwing away, and therefore we take Aham Lakshyartha as a Sakshi Chaitanya. So Paripurna Paratma, Paripurna, Paritaha Purnaha, which is all pervading, which is limitless. Paratma, Paramatma, Brahman. Why adjective Paratma? Any adjective when you use, you always want to differentiate from something else, right? When I say When I say it is a red rose, why should I use a word red rose? We should not use white jasmine. White jasmine. That adjective has no purpose, because jasmine is not there other than in white color. And therefore, that white jasmine is a bogus statement, actually, really speaking. Because if blue jasmine and red jasmine are there to differentiate, any qualification is to distinguish that thing from something else. And therefore, definitely Paratma you are using here. For Atma, you are using word Paratma. Why should you use that word? Because there is Aparatma. That is how we use. What is that Aparatma? Well, these 5 sheets from Annamayadi is Aparatma. Who says that Annamayadi is Atma? First tell us that. Because that has been told in Taittiriya Upanishad. Yeah. Anyantaratma Pranamaya. Anyantaratma Manomaya. Anyantaratma Vijnanamaya. So they are told as Atma. But what about Annamaya? That's the first thing, that this is Atma. Everybody says that. Everybody loves this body very much, And therefore that love is not for the body actually. Love is for the self. And therefore, but since you consider this body as a self, you love your body also very much. Anyway, so that is how Aparatma is there, and therefore we are using this word. And but why it is Apar? It's a low, because they are really not Atma. They are all non-separate from this Satchidananda Atma, which is Paratma, and therefore and Paripurnaha, which is limitless. And generally when we use word I, we refer to this Aparatma only in an absence of this knowledge. But Upanishad uses the word Atma or I in the sense of this Panchakoshatita Brahman. For that sense it is used. I, as an ignorant person, use this Panchakosha as Atma. I use word I or Aham for that. That is Aparatma actually. But Upanishad uses is for Brahman, which is beyond all these 5 sheets, or which is the basis of all the essence of all the 5 sheets. And what this Paratma is doing, what? Asmin dehe buddhehe sakshitaya tishtati. Asmin dehe. Since this all-pervading Paratma is available in every buddhi as a sakshi, and it has been also told there in Taittiriya Upanishad, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman Tat Sruštva Tadevanu Pravish, etc. So that Paramatma is available in this buddhi. Tat Sruštva Tadevanu Pravishat. So he, having created all this mind, sense and body, etc., he entered. So he is available as a this Paramatma is available as available in the buddhi, and therefore Asmin Dehe, this Paramatma is available in this body. Anyway, as a what? As a sakshi. So Paramatma is in the buddhi. Paramatma is not in the buddhi actually, because if you say Paramatma is in the buddhi, it will be a limited entity actually, and smaller than even buddhi. You see, what is available in a given thing will be even smaller than that. So like reflection of the sun available in the water, so even smaller compared to water, right? And therefore Asmin Dehe Tishtati, yes, it is there in this body, available in the buddhi, then even it is smaller than buddhi, Paramatma. And then how it is Paratma or Paramatma? Paramatma means which is limitless, because it has been told Paripurnaha. Paripurnaha means Paritaha Purnaha. All the way it is, which is all pervading, which is limitless. And therefore, this is a different meaning. Available in the buddhi means, Bhashakara very nicely says, Buddhau Upalabhyamanatvat. Buddha Upalabhyamanatvat means Paramatma is everywhere, but only recognizable in the buddhi as a sakshi. That's the meaning. Only recognizable in the buddhi as a sakshi. So sthitva, here for Upalabhyate they have used word sthitva. Vidyaranya uses the word sthitva. Means available in the buddhi as a sakshi. So Paramatma is not available as any cognition. Paramatma is not available as just a thought. Paramatma is not available as a chidabhasa. Paramatma is available as a sakshi. Why? Because illumination of the buddhi vritti or illumination, etc., or buddhi vritti abhava, both actually he is a witness. Paramatma is a witness of both. Paramatma is a witness of even a presence of a thought or even absence of a thought, And that is how you are able to say. You are able to say that I am thoughtless, basically, or I experience a thoughtless state, or I experience varieties of the thoughts. Both the types of experiences are there. In a waking state, in a dream state, you have different thoughts. And in Sushupti, there is no thought as such. And therefore, you are able to say that there was nothing in the deep sleep state, etc. And therefore, vritti rupena, vrittehe sakshi. So it is a sakshi of presence of a thought, or vritti abhava sakshi also. And therefore, it is available in buddhi. It is recognizable in the buddhi. What? Paramatma. That Chaitanyam, where the Sakshi Chaitanyam, which is Paramatma, which is all pervading, is recognizable in the buddhi as a Sakshi of a buddhi vritti or buddhi vritti abhava. Both. A Sakshi of both. Absence and presence of thought. Therefore, Paratma Paripurna is buddhi available as a. And then in buddhi is available in the body. So very nicely said in Mundaka Upanishad, the Mundaka Upanishad gives an example of a Kumbhabhishekam or Prana Pratishtha in the temple. So Bhagavan has created this temple of Annam, etc., Annamaya Kosha, and within that Hridayam Sannidhaya, that verse is, in Mundaka Upanishad, it goes like that. It's a little bigger mantra. I will just paraphrase it. Manomaya Prana Sharira Neta Pratishtitaha Ante Hridayam Sannidhaya, etc., etc. It's a little bigger mantra. Anyway, so Hridayam Sannidhaya. So this is Sannidhanam. So Sannidhanam means it is available as in the Hridayam, which is Garbhagruha, and that Garbhagruha is a part of the temple, and that temple is this Annamaya Shariram. Within this body, which is a temple, there is a Garbhagruha, and that's a Hridayam, and in that Garbhagruha, this Paramatma is giving a darshanam, sannidhanam. That's how in South they always call sannidhanam. I have gone for the darshan of sannidhanam. And that's how they say sannidhanam. So here also in Mundaka Upanishad they use the word hridayam sannidhaya. So hridayam means hridayastha buddhi, and in that buddhi, so Paramatma built this temple, and then in this buddhi, the Garbhagruha is available as a Sakshi. So as though it's a Kumbhabhishekam or this Prana Pratishtha. So Sakshi Pratishtha has been done by Ishvara. So Atma is in the mind, and mind is in the body. So this is just you understand now. So in the body, etc. means it is recognizable. And Asmin Dehe means what? You don't require anybody's body to recognize that. Your mind body is enough. And but one condition is there. To do that darshanam of this Paramatma as a Sakshi, one condition is shown here. What? Vidya Adhikarini Dehe. Asmin Dehe, but Vidya Adhikarini Dehe. So in the body which has got Adhikaritam. So it is available in the mind as which is Vidya Adhikaraha. Vidya Adhikaraha yatra vartate saha Vidya Adhikarini. So possessive affix in Pratyaya is there. So Vidya Adhikaraha yatra vartate. So means one who is having a sadhan chatushtaya sampatti. In a qualified student's mind, that Brahman is available as a Sakshi Chaitanya. Means if it is not qualified, Brahman is not available as a Sakshi. Then how that Brahman is available? It is a samsari or what? No. It is not a samsari, but the person won't recognize as a Sakshi. That's all it is. So because that person who has no sadhan chatushtaya sampatti will not come for darshanam at all. He will not come for darshanam. One who is adhikari will come for the darshanam in Garbhagruha. That Paramatma is available as a sannidhanam, as a Sakshi, etc. And because why he does not come to Garbhagruha? Because he is moving around. He actually where the temple is situated on that hill. So he is interested in the hill and hillock and other all beautiful things. So he doesn't enter into that Garbhagruha. So Paranchi Khani Vyatrunat Swayam Bhuhu Parang Pashyati. He wants to see what is outside. He does not want to see what is inside the temple. And therefore, Paramatma is sitting in the temple, but he is not interested. And therefore, the person who is Vidya Adhikaraha, who is a basically introvert, who is having a sadhan chatushtaya sampatti, well, he recognizes a aham as a Sakshi Chaitanyam of this Antakaranam or of Buddhi Vritti, presence of a thought, presence of a absence of a thought, etc. So when it is obtained thus, this way it is obtained, means sthitva, means upalabhyate. How? Sphuran, being ever evident, ever shining. So when it shines, when it is ever evident, this question should not arise. Ever evident and then when? It cannot go together. Question come at all. So ever evident Atma shines in what? Yogi will immediately rings the bell, you know. It shines in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Ever evident Atma shines in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. What is this? What kind of a buddhi that yogi has, that is to be analyzed. Ever evident means it is ever evident. Ever evident means does not depend upon any avastha. That is called ever evident. And therefore ever evident Sakshi, this question, that's correct that you know which Sakshi will sign. Ever evident Sakshi will sign. When ever evident Sakshi signs, that question will not arise. So anyway, for knowledge of this ever evident Sakshi, you need not go to Nirvikalpa Avastha, etc. We get knowledge in Jagat Avastha itself because it is ever evident. And therefore, well, Buddhi is hopefully available in Jagat Avastha, hopefully. So for few people, Buddhi is available. Now others, Buddhi are not available. And that's how Buddhi is available, then you will understand that you are a Sakshi of even Buddhi. And therefore, that is how this aham is ultimately a Sakshi Chaitanyam, which is a Lakshyartha. Done, the Bhagatyaga Lakshana has been done here. And so that is how one recognizes oneself as a Sakshi Chaitanya. This is a ahamiti iriyate. Vidyaranya says ahamiti iriyate. This is how aham in Mahavakya, aham brahmasmi, has to be understood. Now what is left over? Brahma. Right? And then Asmi. Aham Brahmasmi, we have seen Aham. Aham is nothing but a Sakshi Chaitanyam, etc. Available in the Buddhi. Now Brahman Shabda. Fourth. Swatah Purnah Paratmatra Brahma Shabdena Varnitah Asmityaikya Paramarshah Tena Brahma Bhavamyaham. So in this verse, the first line gives a meaning of word Brahma, and second line gives a meaning of word Asmi, because Aham is already over in the third verse. So Swatah Atra means Asmin Mahavakya, in this Mahavakya of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 1.4.10. Paratma Brahma Shabdena, with the word Brahman, Paratma Varnitah, this Paramatma has been described. So that Paratma means Paramatma, limitless self, all pervading self has been described. What type of Paratma? Swataha Purnaha. So earlier Paripurnaha has come. Now Swataha Purnaha come. Well, ultimately it is the same thing, but Swataha Purna means Swarupena Purna. By its very nature, it is limitless. That is it means Swataha eva means Karanantaram Vina. Without any cause. Hetvantaram Vina. Sadhanantaram Vina. Without any cause, this Paramatma is Paripurna. Means by nature it is Paripurna. Anything which does not have a cause is its nature. Right? That's how we say Agni, fire is hot. There is no cause for it. Water is hot, there is a cause. Fire is hot, there is no cause. And therefore Swataha eva means Karanantaram Vina. Without any cause which is limitless. Means its nature. That Paratma is called, which is limitless without any cause, is called Brahman. So then we wonder, in previous shloka Paratma is said to be Aham. And here the Paratma is called Brahman. So you are using two words but giving a one meaning. So Paratma there it is told as a Aham, Sakshi Chaitanya. Here Paratma is called Brahman. So using actually, two meanings are given for one word. I'm sorry, not two words. Two meanings are given for one word called Paratma. Paratma is equal to Sakshi Chaitanya in a previous verse. here Paratma is equal to Brahman. So one word you are using and giving two meanings, Sakshi Chaitanyam and Brahman. Why you are doing like this? So there is a subtle difference. That subtle difference we have to take into, we have to understand that. In previous shloka, when they have used the word Paratma, then we said that is nothing but a Sakshi Chaitanyam obtaining in the Buddhi, right? We have said like that. And that is called Aham. When Aham comes, definitely you have to go to the mind. Otherwise, where is Aham? You cannot say Aham here. So Aham comes means you have to go to the Buddhi immediately. So even a Sakshi, that's how I used to say Sakshi means immediately you have to relate it to the Antakarana, witness of the mind, etc. And so Paratma obtained as a Sakshi in individual mind is called Aham. And suppose there is no mind, then there is no Sakshi also, right? So there is no question of obtaining Sakshi also. So we will not use the word Aham itself. Then that Paratma which is without Antakarana, which is not a Sakshi, and yet it is limitless, is called Brahman. So now I will tell you technically difference is this. When you say with respect to a Upadhi called Antakaranam, Buddhi, etc., well, the same consciousness is called Sakshi. And if Antakaranam, if you are not referring to Antakaranam, etc., no Upadhi, then that consciousness is called Brahman. That's all it is. And this is going to be elaborated in the next chapter. So you may be wondering that Sakshi and Brahman, what is the difference? This is kind of a difference. So basically when any Upadhi is there, then Upahita Chaitanyam is called Sakshi. And especially Upadhi means Antakaranam. With respect to this Antakaranam, which is an Upadhi, the consciousness obtaining as a witness, we call it as a consciousness obtaining the Buddhi is called Sakshi. And without Antakaranam, etc., well, that all-pervading consciousness, which is called Nirupadhik, is called Brahman. So that is the difference. So even though we have used the word Paratma, but we are giving two separate meanings. Here, with respect to Upadhi, it is Sakshi. Without referring to any Upadhi, it is called Brahman. That's the difference. Lot of people have a difficulty with this Sakshi and Brahman, etc. But why you call Kutastha? That is also will be discussed anyway. But that Sakshi is Kutastha. Because, it's all avastha of the Ahankara. And you are a witness of all the three avasthas, right? And that witness is Kutastha. It is all the time available. Kutastha. And therefore, Sakshi is available all the time. In Jagrata Avastha, Sakshi is available in Sushupti Avastha, Sakshi is available in Swapna Avastha, and therefore Sakshi is one which does not go anywhere. Ahankara goes, waker goes away, and then dreamer goes away, and then deep sleeper goes away, right? They keep on coming and going. This Sakshi won't go anywhere. It is Kutastha. Okay, this is how it is. So why Sakshi is called Kutastha is because of that. Anyway, we will be having a little elaborate discussion later. So that is how here a small doubt was there why word Paratma you are using for Sakshi and why the same Paratma is called Brahman. This only when it is a Upahita Chaitanyam with respect to Upadhi, when we refer to consciousness, we call Sakshi, and Upadhi here means Antakaranam. And with respect to that, we call that Upahita Chaitanyam is called Sakshi. And here, without any Upadhi, when Antakaranam, etc. is also not there, then we should not call Sakshi, etc. Sakshi of what? If any Upadhi is not there, there is no question of Sakshi at all. And therefore, then same all-pervading, Paratma, same all-pervading consciousness is called Brahman. So that is how we have to understand. So, Asmi, now word Asmi. Aham, Brahma, Asmi. Right? Now word Asmi. So that has been told here. Asmi iti aikya paramarshaha tena Brahma bhavamyaham. Asmi iti aikya paramarshin. Asmi iti shabdena. Where in Mahavakyastha, the word by the word Asmi, in the Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi, aikya paramarshaha kriyate. Aikya Paramarsha means with reference to this Asmi word, which is referring to Aikyam. Paramarsha means with reference, connoting to Aikyam. So Asmi iti Aikyash Paramarsha. By the word asmi, asmi means asmi iti shabdena. By the word asmi, aikya paramarsha. Aikya paramarsha means reference to aikyam, reference to oneness. So asmi is connoting, asmi is referring to what? Aikyam. And aikyam means what? Aikyam means identity. Identity means what? Identity means not similarity. Sometimes identity means similarity also. Yeah. That's how, I have got an identical copy of a Pancadasi. Okay. So that is not referred here. Aikyam means identity also. Ekasya bhavaha aikyam. Ekasya bhavaha, not two. And identity means similarity, means two things. Similar, right? So two things. So here we have to remove that kind of a notion. Anyway, that's later. Something else come in my mind. Ekasya bhavaha aikyam. So they are two different words, but refer to one and the same substance. That's what we mean. Aham and Brahman are two words, but refer to one thing alone. That's all. And so Aham and Brahman has got the same meaning. Words are two. Meaning is one. Vastu is one. So that is how we say. So they are not similar and they are not union also. Sometimes union, by union you become one. So that is also not there. So they are not even united also, not union also. And so no identity, no similarity, no union, no unity, etc. That is just oneness. Ekasya bhavaha. So it is just one thing alone, referred by two words. Aham also referred to this Brahman, and Brahman also referred to Brahman. That is, Aham also refers to this consciousness, all-pervading consciousness, limitless consciousness, and Brahman also refers to this limitless consciousness. In other words, Aham is Brahman, Brahman is Aham. So beautiful, right? This is how Mahavakya gives you knowledge. So, in Seeker has one goal, to fill up the gap between Aham and Brahman. That's all. And so no more gap means you are Brahma Jnani. That is how it is. So no more. Whenever you use the word Aham, whenever you have a awareness of Aham, and likewise, right now, whenever I use the word Aham, well, immediately in my mind, this human being strikes, right? That I am a human. So word Aham and Manushya has a one meaning, this body, right? So same way, Aham and Brahman, well, you have a one meaning. So whenever you use the word Aham, in your mind, if like me, in your mind, Brahman strikes, then definitely you are no more ignorant of Brahman. Please understand, Brahman is available, recognizable as Aham. Upalabhyamanatvat. And therefore, whenever you use word Aham, it refers to consciousness, limitless consciousness, or you use word Aham, Brahman, then also it refers to this Aham. So Aham refers to Brahman, Brahman refers to Aham, and therefore another word for Brahman is Aham. That's what I want to convey. That is called Mahavakya. When another word for Brahman is Aham. And that is your understanding. That's your confidence. Then you are free, because Brahman is free. And in your mind, Brahman, whenever I use word Aham, when I use the word Brahman, well, you immediately refer to Aham. Wow, what a big thing. So, well, Brahman is free, and so you are also free. No limitation of time, no limitation of place, no limitation of any object, and therefore that Nirgunam Brahma, which is free from all attributes, names and forms and everything, well, that is Aham. Beautiful, right? So this is how Brahma Jnanam takes place. So this Nididhyasanam helps you to fill up the gap between, because whenever you use word Aham, Ahankara appears, individual appears, and then this will definitely go away. You are a Sakshi of very, very Ahankara. Sakshi of a Buddhi also. Tena means because of this reason. Which reason? Since Aikyam is revealed through the word Asmi, Aikya Shabdena Paramrishtatvena Hetuna Aham Brahma Bhavami. Well, so since Aikyam is revealed by the word Asmi, Means aham is Brahman and Brahman is aham. Well, aham Brahma bhavami. I am therefore, a big therefore. A big therefore. Puja Swami is annaval. Oh, what's some word he was using. So, therefore I am Brahman. So, this is how it is. Bhu means becoming actually, but here it is in the form of, in the sense of Asmi. Right? In the sense of Asmi. Aham Brahmasmi. This is how this Mahavakya is also over. Let's go to verse number 5. Ekameva advitiyam sat nama rupa vivarjitam srishteh puradhunapyasya tadruktam taditiryate. Now which Upanishad, which Veda? Samaveda. So first we saw Rigveda, Prajnanam Brahma. Then second we saw Shukla Yajurveda, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, that is Aham Brahmasmi. Now Tattvamasi, Samaveda. That is in the 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad. And very most famous, Tattvamasi, 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 right? 9 times Uddalaka told to Shvetaketu. Uddalaka wanted that he should not go back without knowledge. So he kept on saying Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi 9 times with different examples. That is the 6th chapter of the 6th chapter of the Chandogya. Okay, Vidyaranya defines here word tat. Out of Tattvamasi, first he defines Tat. So Upanishad itself has talked about Tat Shabda in the beginning of that section. How Sadeva Somya Idamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. So Vidyaranya is doing a paraphrasing of that statement. He is not quoting the entire thing. He is paraphrasing that statement. That non-dual existence is the meaning of the word Tat. So he says here, Ekameva Advitiyam Sat. That much he must say. That is called paraphrasing of that mantra. Which mantra? Which we have seen actually. In which chapter? In 2nd chapter of Pancadasi. So big. Sadeva Somedamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. Every word we have seen, right? I hope so that you remember a little bit. So here, this non-dual existence is the meaning of word Tat. Tat iti iryate. I mean, by the word Tat, the Sat has been referred, pure existence has been referred. And what is the meaning of that existence? What is the meaning of Sat? Well, Ekameva Advitiyam Sat. So that is how the meaning of the Sat is nothing but Ekameva Advitiyam. Meaning of the word existence is nothing but Ekameva Advitiyam. Existence is one, without it's non-dual, etc., etc. And Ekameva Advitiyam means what? That we have also seen in that verse number, I will give you the number. Ekameva Advitiyam, we defined it in 2nd chapter of Pancadasi as free from Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Vedaha. Right? And so, very beautifully described there, Vidyaranya gave an example of a Vruksha. In verse number 20, chapter 2, Vrukshasya Swagato Vedaha, Patra Pushpa Phaladibihi, Vrukshantarat Sajatiyaha, Vijatiya Shiladitaha. He referred there. So Vrukshasya Swagato Vedaha. So in a Vruksha, in a single Vruksha, there are different limbs, right? Each limb is different from other limb. And therefore leaves is different from the branch, and branch is different from the root, and root is different from the bark, etc., etc. So this is called Swagata Vedaha. Swasmin Gataha, Swasmin Praptaha Vedaha, Swagata Vedaha. Swasmin, in a single thing, available, or certain differences which are available, is called Swagata Vedaha. So that is one. What are we defining? We are defining Sat. How we are defining? Ekam Eva Advityam. Means what? Well, we refer to chapter 2 now. That which is free from these 3 Vedas is called non-dual existence. And so first thing is Vrukshasya Swagato Vedaha, which is the internal differences, internal division in a single tree. In terms of Patra Pushpa Phaladibihi, he told that way. Patra Pushpa Phaladibihi. Well, all this. Patram is different from Pushpam, and Pushpam is different from Phalam, etc. All this. Okay. Then Vrukshantarat Sajatiya, that's another Veda, Sajatiya Veda. Well, when you refer to another tree belonging to the same species, then definitely the Bheda between the two members in a given species is called Sajatiya Bheda. And then Shiladitaha, Vijatiya. And then, the other one is Vriksha is different from of a stone and other things. Vriksha is different from a computer. So that kind of a Bheda is definitely Vijatiya Bheda. So that is how the Sat is nothing but Sat means the existence, or Brahman actually is free from all the three types of differences. So then it is Ekam Advitiyam, which is one without second. It's a non-dual. And different commentators comment differently, but this Sat is called Nama Rupa Vivarjitam. Very beautiful. Nama Rupa Vivarjitam means it's a Hetu Garbha Visheshana. Nama Rupa Vivarjitam Sat. Right? So it means there is no Bheda as such, and that has been told by Ekameva Advitiyam, etc. And so, since Nama Rupas are not there, it is pure existence. So that Sat is the meaning of the word Tat in Tattvamasi. That's what it says, which is free from any division in form of names and forms. Okay, but then what is the nature of Tat? Srushte pura adhuna api tadruktam vartate. So Sat is free from all differences before and after the creation. Because Srushte pura, before the creation, and adhuna means now, means at Srushti Kale. So before creation and after creation, tadruktvam vartate. The Sat remains as it is. That is how it is called Sat. Sat is Satyam. Satyam means which is abhaditam, which cannot be negated. Means which was before creation, whatever its nature was, the same nature right now also is available. Otherwise it has been negated, right? If nature of a thing has been changed now after creation, there is no more Sat, because that is negated. Therefore, why word Sat indicates Srushte Pura and Adhuna, Api, now also. Pura means before. Before creation and after the creation, it remains in one form. Tadruktvam, remains same. And so it is free from all differences. And so we are able to talk about differences because of the creation. Otherwise, we cannot call about any differences, because anything once it is created, then definitely we say that this was not there before. Now it has come, and therefore any type of a differences. If anything is not created, you cannot call difference. Once it is created, you will have a difference, and therefore now Sat appears with differences. But it is not different. That's what we are going to say. Why it is not different? Because it is Sat. Sat means which has not been negated. So earlier it was in one form and now it is in a different form. Then we'll definitely call that it is. Then we cannot call it as a Sat. So Adhuna means Srushtikala. So Tadruktvam Vartate Namarupa Vivarjitam Shuddha Sattvam, etc. Anyway. So if you go by Upanishad, the statement is what? Sadeva Somya Idamagra Asit Ekameva Advitiyam Agre Asit. So before Srushti, well, it was Sat. And then we may take what? After Srushti, it is what? Then differences should be there. Because, you see, if there is no difference before creation and after difference, why Upanishad has used a word Asit? Asit means it is a past tense. So Sadeva Somya Idamagra Asit. Of course, this we discussed there also in chapter 2. Asit means before the creation it was Sat. Before creation it was Sat. Means it is not now Sat. That's what it is. So Asit indicates an Agre. Agre means before. Before means Srushte Prak. Before creation it was Sat. Means right now it is not Sat. Otherwise, why should you use a past tense? Past tense when you use means that was different and now it is different. That's what it is. But so Shankaracharya ji writes a long commentary on this. A significance of the word Agre and Asit. Where? It is in chapter, in 6th chapter. He writes a big commentary, Agre and Asit, because this is a confusing. You call Sat on one way, and the other way you say it is a past also. Past means in the past it was Sat. Well, that's not correct. So now also it is Sat only, being Sat, so now also it is divisionless existence. Then why does Upanishad puts this word Agre and Asit and all that? So we say now there is a difference, experiential difference, pratitika bheda, vyavaharika bheda, experiential difference is there. Before creation, Namarupa was in unmanifest form, and therefore they appear to be non-separate from Sat Brahman. Like even before a creation of a pot, this pot was there in unmanifest form in a clay, and now it is in a manifest form. So experientially there is a difference. When it is in unmanifest form, you are not able to count a separate name and form other than the material, because it was unmanifest. Now it has manifested, but even if it has manifested, it is still non-separate from that cause only. After manifestation of a pot, right, still it is non-separate from clay. Before also it was non-separate from the clay, and now also non-separate from the clay. But the difference is a experiential difference. Experiential difference means what? Right now I am able to see the name and form. Right now I am able to transact with the name and form. Earlier I was not able to transact. Earlier I was not able to fill up the water. Earlier I was not able to utter a word, even pot. Now I am able to use a word pot. But still, whether it is manifest pot or unmanifest pot, it is clay. And therefore, there is no change in the swarupa of the clay. And so, but Upanishad uses the word Asit and Agre. The whole creation was Sat, because the whole creation, all names and forms, not one, all names and forms were unmanifest in Sat. And right now they are manifest. That's a difference is there. To account for that difference, which is an experiential difference, not a real difference, not that Sat has gone, not that the clay has gone. Even after manifestation of a pot, name and form, still it is clay only. Therefore, right now also it is Sat only. But before, the whole creation was in unmanifest form, not available for transaction, not available, having any transactional reality, because it was unmanifest. We are not able to account for any names and forms in unmanifest condition. It was just a Maya, right? Unmanifest condition means Maya. And right now they are all manifest. Manifest means we are available for transaction. And therefore that's existence. Earlier it was a pure existence, because all names and forms were definitely in unmanifest condition. Now names and forms has created a division, right? Any name and form, after creation from Sat has as though divided the Sat, as though. So I associate existence with this, Earlier it was not even available for that. So there is a pratitika bheda, experiential difference. So this is how we have to say. And so nama rupayoho pruthak upalabhyamanatvat. So now names and forms are available and they are manifested, and therefore there is an expression of asit. We are saying asit. Why we are saying before the creation the whole whole this Jagat was Sat. Why was? Because right now, all names and forms has appeared, and therefore there is a difference. To account for the difference in terms of experiences of varieties of the names and forms, we say Asit, that this was unmanifest before. Now it is manifest. Manifest or unmanifest, it is Sat alone, and therefore basically it is right now also Sat, before also Sat. But the Upanishad uses the word past tense, Asit, etc. As dhatu, and it is a past tense is Asit. Asit, Asam, Asan, etc. They are the forms. So to account for that experiential difference between the two states, we are using word past tense. We are using past tense. Not in terms of that Sat has undergone any modification and now it is not Sat, etc. That is not the case. Being Sat, it is right now Sat. It is available as Sat. Sat means what? It is same. Abhaditam Sat. Sadeva Satyam, it very clearly Uddalaka says in 6th chapter. Sadeva Satyam, Sa-atma, Tattvamasi, Shvetaketu, etc. etc. So that is basically Sat is Satyam, and Satyam means it will be the same. There will not be any difference, and it is now not available for negation, and therefore in all varieties of the states it remains same. So whether it is unmanifest condition or manifest condition. So Asit is referring, taking into account for manifest condition of the Jagat. The Brahman continues to be non-different from from the creation. Right now also it is Sat. Let's go to now Tvam and Asi. This is Tat. Tat is equal to Sat, which does not undergo any change even after creation. Okay, now Tvam and Asi both have been explained in the next verse. Shrotrudehendriyatītam vastvatra tvam paderitam ekata grahyate siti tadaikyam anubhuyatam. So, see this tvam pada, when we analyze, we have to apply tvam pada vachyartha. Same thing, like aham brahmasmi, there what we did for aham, now we have to do for tat, tvam. And so, and tvam padartha means again you take vachyartha. Tattvamasi, tat means Brahman, that is Sat. That's okay. Tat means Sat. Now Tvam means what? Tvam means basically this Tvam. Tvam means basically Aham, right? And so Tvam is nothing but this Ahankara. That's a vachyartha. But Ahankara also is cannot stand without this Kutastha Chaitanyam, and therefore otherwise this Mahavakya becomes meaningless. So we have to discard this vachyartha. I am not going in detail, now you know very well. So we have to discard this vachyartha and we have to try lakshana. And this jahadajal lakshana, I am using different words so you will not get bored. So this jahadajal lakshana, oh, this is a different lakshana. Swami has told earlier Bhagat Tyaga, now he is telling jahadajal. Then you will be again, become alert. What is that? It is same Bhagat Tyaga. Jahat ajahat. Jahat means give up. Ajahat, don't give up. So giving up and non-giving up means what? Give up partially. That's how it is. Giving up and non-giving up means something you retain, something you give up. That is called Bhagatyaga. And so Jahat means actually it's a present participle from the root ha. It's in third conjugation. Jahati, Jahitah, Jahati, etc. These are the forms. And therefore ha, oha, tyage. So Jahat means giving up, and Ajahat, don't give up, means partially retain. So that is Bhagatyaga only. Anyway, and therefore by that Lakshana, Ahankara Amsha has been given up, because Ahankara is a mixture, and so from mixture only we can give it up something, and therefore basically Ahankara is nothing but has a Kutastha or a Sakshi Chaitanyam also. So that is to be retained. That is actually a truth. And that is to be, other than that, everything is given up. So Upadhi, etc. has been given up. Upadhi, when you give it up, medium you give up, reflection also will go away. When you throw away water, definitely the reflection of the sun also will also go away, along with that. Sun will not go away. But reflected sun along with the water is thrown, basically. And therefore, Sabhasa Upadhi, Abhasa Sahita Upadhi, right, has been given. Chidabhasa along with the Upadhi is given. Because it's just an appearance, and therefore I don't want to count now. I am a person of a reality, and therefore I want to give it up. Anyway, so Upahita Chaitanyam remains. Whenever see Upahita, what is this? What is this Upahita? He uses so many Chaitanyas, and therefore Sakshi and Kutastha and that and this and now he has brought another word, Upahita. So Upahita means with respect to Upadhi. Available in Upadhi is called Upahita. available in Antakarana. So, and recognized through Upadhi. Recognized through Upadhi. Sakshi is recognized through Upadhi. Sakshi is recognized through Buddhi Vritti, right? So, well, I am a Sakshi of a Buddhi Vritti, I am Sakshi of a Antakaranam, I am Sakshi of a Buddhi Vritti, presence of a thought, absence of a thought, etc., etc. Anyway, Shrotruhu Dehendriyatitam. So, Dehendriyatitam, Deha Indriya, etc. So, let's take Panchakosha. Shrotuhu, one now, right now, who is a listener, who is doing a Shravanam. Well, Shravanam of what? Shravanam of Mahavakya. And this Shrotruhu Dehendriya Atitam, Panchakosha Atitam. So basically, this Atma is, this Sakshi is basically a Sakshi of Panchakosha, or which transcends all the Panchakosha. Let's take that way. And so Dehendriyatitam Vastu. This Vastu word is it was very popular with Pujya Swamiji. Wow, he never used word Brahman. He always used to say Vastu. And the meaning is Vasati Asti Yathartatah iti Vastu. Well, Vastu means really existent thing. So Vasati is equal to Asti. Yathartatah iti Vastu. Yathartha means in reality what really exists is this existence, Brahman, right? Other than that, there is no real existence. Even though I say Deha Asti, I say Manaha Asti, Indriyam Asti, but that Asti is actually a borrowed, right? You all have a borrowed. Everyone other than Brahman has a borrowed existence. So therefore really existent thing is what? That is Sat. Therefore that is called Vastu. Brahman is a Vastu. So all the Panchakoshas are Avastu. Panchakoshas are Avastu. Other than Avastu is Vastu. Panchakosha Atita. So that is basically Dehendriya Adhishthana Bhutam, which is the essence of all these Panchakoshas, which is beyond these Panchakoshas, which is really existent thing, is this Shrotruhu Dehendriyaditam Vastu Atra means Asmin Mahavakya, in Tattvamasi Mahavakya, Tvam Pada Iritam, Tvam Padena Iritam. Well, Tvam Padena Uktam. By this word Tvam Pada has been referred as a Sakshi Chaitanyam, and not Tvam Pada is equal to some Ahankara, etc. Then how did you arrive at this meaning? Bhagatyaga Lakshanaya. Well, this by the Lakshana we have arrived at this in Tattvamasi Mahavakya. Okay. And then Asi is left over, right? Tat, Tvam, Asi. Tat means Sat, and which was there before creation, and which is available right now as a pure existence. That is Sat, that is Tat. Tat is Sat, and then Tvam is nothing but the Sakshi Chaitanyam, and both are one thing alone, has been told in the next line. That we will see tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.